Hello again, everyone. Melth here, with more of my Baldur's Gate 3 challenge run, where among other things, I'll be tackling the game with no long rest for my party, no healing potions for them either, tackling every encounter with combat, and doing so with the hardest group of enemies that is possible for that fight. Watch out for spoilers throughout this run. Okay, so, finishing up with the toll booth area last time, let's loot these gnolls for the best treasure of all, hyena ears. They are bountiful in this one area, but then never again. This is your one chance to stock up for pretty much the entire game. And you really want to, because hyena ears are 1/3 of a speed potion apiece, and speed potions are wonderful. So, do not let a single hyena or gnoll keep its ears. They all belong in your pockets. Speaking of treasure, over here there's a buried treasure that's not as good as hyena ears. In fact, it's usually pretty trashy for whatever reason. I don't really know whether each treasure chest in the world is scripted to have either good or bad treasure, but this one always seems to have bad stuff for some reason. There's also a waypoint here, although I doubt we'll ever come back here again. Speaking of where we're going and where we'll be coming back to and so forth, out of character, I really want to get to the mountain pass where there are a lot of good merchants waiting and some power-ups waiting, but in character I can't really justify just rushing there. I also, out of character, need to go to Joaquin's Rest first, so as to not lose out on the Joaquin's Rest questline, which will advance if you go to the mountain pass without taking care of it. So, in character, we've heard that Joaquin's Rest was attacked by the forces of the Absolute. We're coming to try to help them, and this is going to be part of the... Oh wow, we actually failed to find the treasure chest here. Just kind of part of the mandatory community service that Ballista is imposing on Laboing, Zell, and Astarion for their horribleness. Okay, you've got the shovel. Alright, start digging. I know there's treasure around here. If you go into the dig animation, it seems to mean you found the right spot.
Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times. Time to press ahead.
Alright, up we go, to then advance through the rest of this area, and... Oh yeah, the bridge is hidden from sight. Loot those gnolls too, and then fight some gnolls of our own. Oh, you know, one other thing while I'm looking in this area. If you explore over here, you can get to this cave, which is the back door to where the Zentrum are hiding from the gnolls. It has some nasty booby traps in it, but it's just kind of a great reward for exploring that you can see past the gnolls that way. In general, the area has a lot of rewards for exploration. I just think that's great design. So, wanted to point that out and praise it. Buckle here, for some reason, has a name and moderately better gear than most of the people. Then I guess we get into just kind of the wreckage of either traders or refugees that are coming along this road here. For some reason, Baldur's Gate isn't concerned about, you know, every single trader coming along this major road getting killed or whatever, which apparently has happened of late.
Something tore right through these people. They didn't stand a chance.
We have an interesting encounter coming up ahead here with some gnolls and hyenas. Let's get into it.
The creature's eyes roll back in its head.
So, of course, we read a book earlier in the game about how gnolls are birthed from hyenas, because every single book that we read relates to either our characters or things that will happen in the game, which is very efficient game design, but not really realistic or in particularly good world building. We can speak with animals so we get this conversation from the hyena's perspective. Surprisingly, you know, enthusiastic about her upcoming torturous death. Gnolls are kind of a demonic creature. Yeenagu is a demon lord and their god, although not their creator originally. They've forgotten who their real creator was. Yeenagu is basically a usurper.
The hyena moans softly as its body contorts.
Usually you can just step on her head whenever for a free kill here. I wouldn't want to do that anyway because I would want to have the hardest possible fight. So, let's just try to leave. It won't actually work. So I want to try to leave, let it birth that gnoll, and then we'll fight the gnoll.
Her belly splits like a rotten fruit.
I want to point out two things here. Number one, terrible blood texture there. A lot of times even worse than that. Just awful blood texture. Anyway. The gnoll there has ears, and the hyena still had her ears too. So really, we should be able to loot the ears off of both of them. But sadly, we can't. That one also cheats for initiative here. It always gets like 12 or 15 or something like that, which is off the charts for it. It's meant to be a messenger that'll go and fetch gnolls that are waiting up there, but we should have to stop it from doing so. Which is pretty trivial, so it's not a big deal. A bigger deal will be coming up in one of the upcoming fights where, like, cheating for initiative for them continues, and it actually matters more, and is quite irksome as a result. But, anyway. Pretty easy there. We'll take out this one newborn gnoll, no big deal. It's only really a problem if the other gnolls come in, because your characters will be surprised with it sometimes, even though it's the most obvious possible thing that could happen. And being surprised by all these gnolls, that's a bit of an issue. Anyway, if we leave these gnolls alive, or leave these hyenas alive to become gnolls, we'll actually get more XP. So let's do that, both for the harder fight and for the free XP. Let's have you run over there, and, you know, go into hide mode in the meantime. And let's have you hide and then jump on up there.
I am fury.
And you hide and then jump on up there. We kind of want to be out of their way, basically.
I wonder if this is worth the cost.
I don't think you can actually get all the way, since you have much worse strength than those other guys do.
These boots have seen everything.
Get on up there. You turn invisible. And get out of here. I think we've got everyone who could get up there out of the way, and then we'll just kind of wait 2 turns for the gnolls to hatch, as it were.
Scram! And whatever you do, don't go and get your friends.
I guess she's talking to, like, the dead hyena there. The other party members will more intelligently realize that it's going to get the friends, rather than telling it to scram. But Karlach is kind of a dummy, so I guess she doesn't have smart commentary about that.
One day I'll catch a break.
Okay, all the gnolls should birth this turn, I think. They'll get a special speed boost, just so that they catch you off guard, basically. Notice that we get XP for each dead hyena, and then when we kill the gnolls, we get XP for them too, which is unusual in this game. They're wasting their time detecting our supposedly hidden people, which is convenient for us, although it wouldn't matter. Up this cliff, they can't possibly get to us anyway, so they're all just going to be free kills. Okay. So, if you shoot that one, you'll probably not quite kill it, but you'll set it up for Ballista to get the kill.
For a dull moment.
Path is in trouble. Come on. There's definitely pathing to some of them down there. Look, there's nothing in the way. You know, whatever. I don't think I even need him.
Smell blood.
Yeah, no doubt you smell blood. That generic comment is actually quite appropriate here. I guess I should have actually fired a firebolt there, but it doesn't matter. This is an easy fight. Oh, you're not actually in combat. You probably will be now. Or not.
Never seen that before.
I've seen worse. Much worse.
Really? I mean, they are demonic. The worst things you probably saw were demonic, but...
We will rip them from top to tail.
Usually she talks about how they're going to be spreading all over the coast, but, like, that's not a big deal because gnolls are just like a low-level nuisance that like orcs. They're already all over the coast. No one cares. So we can get the ears off these gnolls, but we can't get any more off of the hyenas that birthed them, sadly. I guess I'm now overloaded. Let's fix that. I don't know. You carry the water bottles. You carry the alchemist fight. This is just very arbitrary. And let's go into the alchemy ingredients and ship those off to... I guess Karlach's carrying the rest of them. Fine. Should be good for the time being. Let us speak with that dead guy. Oh, usually I read his letter first so we can ask him about who NF is, but his answer is just that he doesn't give a good answer, so...
The corpse regards
get to that momentarily.
Lifelessly.
Wizard's shipman.
He'll basically mention if you ask him about NF, that NF is the guild boss, the guild being basically the Thieves Guild in Baldur's Gate. Which is odd because they're working with the Zentrum here. This is a Zentrum shipment. They went to a Zentrum hideout. Those are two different organizations. The Zentrum is like the Mafia. They are sometimes aligned with the Thieves Guild, but not always. And they're actually trying against each other in this game, so... odd.
Son of
We'll meet Rugen shortly. I'm going to make sure he gets out of here so he can join his Zentrum buddies, and then we can kill them all with the hardest possible fight.
secret. No.
The spell's power.
Let's go through his bags here. And we'll read that. And this will tell us about that quest. So there's NF. I forget. Oh, is it Nine Fingers? Is that what NF stands for? Maybe. Not sure about that. But Nine Fingers is the head of the guild. But again, it's odd because this is not a guild shipment that I know. This is a Zentrum ship. You handed them to a Zentrum person, as I recollect. So, peculiar. This is also not true. Opening the chest is fine, although it'll ruin the quest for you. You won't be hurt, but it'll ruin the quest for you. I guess I know it was open. Open the thing inside the chest, that's when you get attacked. So the wreckage of the hyenas here have no ears, they're just disintegrated now, I guess. Except for, of course, the ones we just killed outright ourselves, obviously. More things to sell, I suppose. As a reminder, the reason that I don't do shift-click add to wares is that I often find that to be bugged and it'll only add one thing to wares while adding the rest just to the inventory. Out of cautiousness, I usually just add things manually. It's not always bugged, it just sometimes is for me at least. Now, you're really rewarded a lot for exploring and positioning here. If you come up this lower ground to fight those guys, I mean, you'll win, because there's just a few gnolls, but it's definitely harder than if you go around and get the higher ground against them. So let's go ahead and do that and be smart. I do like that they just kind of reward exploring and having good eyesight here. I mean, anyone can just roll perception for their character, but having us, the player, benefit from looking around carefully, it's pretty nice, I think. Helps you get into the character, I guess, for just getting through this dangerous wilderness. Now, in theory, you can surprise these guys. In practice, I find that to be inconsistent at best. Because surprise in this game in general is just insane the way it works.
Have to keep going.
Okay, I'm going to stand in, like, open sunlight here, so they should definitely be able to see me.
Attention.
I'm going to have you walk up, again, in open sunlight, so they should not even make a check, they should auto-see me.
Let's have some fun.
And then I'm going to shoot one of them. And we'll see if that actually works, and if I actually get surprised or not.
Do thanks.
It worked! No one else got pulled in, even though they are all standing right there. Didn't I just tell you to get out of combat? Or out of stealth? I did. Okay. Alright, it worked that time. It often doesn't, though.
Quickly.
Well, given that we got surprised, I probably don't need to use any fancy magic arrows here. I can probably just set them up for starting to knock down. So, you know, throw a firebolt or whatever at one of them. Gnoll Hunters are their range guys. Most of these gnolls have some way to activate a super mode that will then give them multiple attacks. That's kind of just the gnoll thing in this game.
Strike.
Let's injure that one, the uninjured one, setting it up. Okay, so then if you turn that back on, you should probably be able to kill that one in one shot. And then even without, Sharpshooter should be able to kill off the injured one most likely. And let's turn that back on and deal with the remaining guy.
Victory awaits.
Still breathing.
No big deal.
Despite everything.
This letter's about peacocks being, banned, and calling this oppressive. A lot of people, for some reason, will have this letter about no animals larger than a peacock gaining entry. This one actually wants a bear for some reason. On the subject of peacocks, two random anecdotes have nothing to do with anything else. One is that at this place called the Grounds for Sculpture in New Jersey, I actually saw a white peacock once, which I never saw or heard of anywhere else, which is interesting. And also, there's, in a Zoroastrian myth about Angra-Mainyu, also known as Ahriman, the evil spirit, there's a story in one version where he created peacocks just to prove that, as he's put it, it is not that I cannot create anything good, but that I choose not to. If we look around carefully up here, we will see that there are... Going to hell. Okay, there we go. Hide. I do really wish that when you told them to go into hide mode, they actually all did it, including your pets, but can't have everything. Anyway, Null boss over there, writing the symbol in blood on the wall there. So if you pay attention to the terrain, you can get an advantage here. If you come from like the bad direction, you'll get hit by the boss up front, taking for the ranged ones. It's pretty bad. But if you go around and notice the high ground here, you can ambush them and have high ground advantage against them and have her be forced to walk around in circles while you kill the weak ones. So, again, a reward for exploring and having good eyesight and looking around carefully, I would say. Here's a little digression on mixed D&D and real-life lore on hyenas and gnolls and flinds that I forgot to mention while I was recording this earlier. Now, the name Gnoll probably comes from this funny little short story by Lord Dunsany about this master thief and his apprentice who try to steal from this vague, kind of menacing, fairy-like group of beings called the Gnolls that live in this haunted forest. But how they came to be hyena men, that I'm not sure about. Now, I do know that some of the weirder monsters in the monster manual, like the owlbear and the boulet, which apparently how it's pronounced rather than bulette, although it's not spelled that way, came about just because Gary Gygax had this weird, whimsical box of strange little plastic miniatures, and just thought, well, what kind of monster could this thing be? It kind of looks like an owl, kind of looks like a bear, that kind of process. Now, maybe he had one that looked kind of like a hyena, kind of like a person. Not sure. I also know, I think he said that he did not make all the monsters from the first monster manual himself, so maybe it was someone else's idea. Anyway. Now, whereas a lot of people seem to think that Flind is the name of this particular gnoll boss that we fight here, Flind is probably just the name of the creature type. See, Flinds are a type of broader, stronger, shorter demonic gnoll that often lead gnoll packs. And if a gnoll kills a Flind, that gnoll then becomes a Flind. So it might just be the name of her subspecies, basically, just like all the other gnolls here are called Gnoll Hunter or Gnoll Fang of Yeenagu and things like that. On the subject of pack leadership, gnolls in D&D usually have the pretty generic and boring lore that just like the strongest male leads the pack, which is the same for almost every single monster's race, and it gets repetitive when every single one is structured the same way, of just the biggest, strongest warrior, or if they have a cleric, the cleric, it leads every single pack. But here, Flynn seems to be a female, which is kind of interesting because in real life spotted hyenas, but not other types of hyenas as far as I'm aware, the females are larger and stronger than the males and usually lead their packs, which is unusual and kind of interesting. So maybe they had that in mind here. Not sure. One last thing on the subject of spotted hyenas. So their species name is Crocutta, and they're named after this, I wouldn't say mythical, but kind of a magical animal from Roman folklore. It came about basically just because of Roman natural historians writing about animals and playing the telephone game and believing every silly thing they heard. It started off with, I think, Strabo, who was comparatively grounded, just kind of describing this vague, dog-like, wolf-like creature that could have been a hyena in Africa, could have been an African wild dog. Not sure. But then Pliny, who believed all kinds of crazy things, like that there are these bull creatures called a bonassus that could fire a flamethrower over fiery dung, or that the expression that fortune favors the bull applied to sailing into volcanic eruptions too, decided that he thought crocoddas had the ability to imitate human voices and were also immune to iron weapons, and so they started spreading these strange stories of more and more magical powers for crocoddas. And then eventually someone else transplanted them from Africa to India, and just the whole thing became completely detached from any reality whatsoever. Oddly enough, those actually entered D&D lore themselves as Leocrocoddas, which were sort of dog or wolf-like monsters, having kind of, I guess, lost the probable original hyena connection. Kind of interesting though, I think. Alright. Now, what can happen with initiative in this fight, it's so weird and full of so many layers of cheating at times that I can't come up with a better word for it than just bullshit. You can't trust the rules to work as they really should here. But let's see how we get it to go, at least.
Shouldn't linger.
Step carefully.
Alright, we're going to stand in open sunlight there, so that we are as easy as possible for them to spot, so that we hopefully get a surprise round. Because, due to just dumb mechanics, you need to be seen by the enemy to get a surprise round. Alright, we're all in the open, right? Let's turn off stupid mode there. Okay, here's an offhand attack. You know, actually, you do it. Here's an offhand attack from you. Target is too close. Fine. There we go. How about that? Okay, they got surprised, but no one else got pulled into the fight, even though they're literally right there.
Best thing ahead, or I'm lost.
So, where is Karlak in initiative order?
My turn.
Where is Ballista? Alright.
Time to strike.
So my plan here is I'm going to try to do something I haven't tried before. I'm going to put down a speed potion here between the three of us and see if I can have Karlak shoot at it to slash it onto all three of us and then hopefully get the speed potion activated on everyone that way instead of throwing it, which is what I usually would do. Is it even possible for you to have actually legitimately beat Astarion in initiative? You have a maximum of 6, because you don't have alertness. You have a minimum of 7. Yeah, no, so that doesn't make sense. That's just due to like him entering the fight later on, I guess. She'll also ignore surprise sometimes to just cheat to take a turn anyway.
Ready for another round?
But anyway, one thing at a time. You get the speed potions, let's pass those over to Le Boingzel, or this is pass one of them over.
I will ascend.
Okay, now let's pull it out of our inventory here. Try to put it on the ground between the 3 of us. Okay. Then let's just see if this works. This is experimental here. It works. Okay. That's a slight advantage, because normally I need to spend an action or an attack doing a throw to get that to work. But here I can spend a bonus action, which is a little bit less important. So, nice. Now, I'm probably close to short resting anyway, so I'll use all my abilities that charge up on short rest, which includes, I would say, activating Falor or Louvre. Probably Sing here, just to give everyone more accuracy. I could also maybe throw a Haste Berry to Astarion to activate his on-heal ability. But probably instead I will just walk over to here and try to throw an object down at Flind. Do I have a spear ready for that purpose? I could do the pike, but I wouldn't really want to not do that, because that would mean it equips itself to my inventory, to my hands rather, I mean, and then that means that I have lowered armor class, which no one wants. Nice. Some lucky damage there. Alright. Let's clear out of the way so we just provide that aura to everyone, ideally.
Gods, it's hot in here.
Alright, you've got just one action left. That's fine. Can you get to a point where you can throw a spear down at Flind? I'm pretty sure I gave you a spear, right? Maybe not. I know I've got spare spears, though. Yeah, plenty of them. Why can't you pass this? I unended return for a reason here. Okay, there we go. I don't actually know if she can get to a point where she can throw that, so maybe that won't work. So maybe she should just throw at one of these instead, although that might actually kill it, which we don't really want. So, what do we want to do in that case? Maybe just shoot a Ray of Frost at Flind in case we can't kill her. Denying her the ability to get over to us is quite important. Another good way to fight her if you can't kill her fast is just to try to cover this area up with spike growth and things like that, just make it impossible for her to get up to you. Having the high ground here, as I said before, is just really, really advantageous.
In position.
Oh, I didn't have her in the Singing Sword area for that, but it worked out fine. Alright, so she played fair with the surprise round, so that's nice.
Yes, here.
Alright, you've got high speed on this turn. Let's have you activate, as a bonus action, just eat a good berry or whatever, so that we can activate your... this necklace. You don't need any healing, it won't heal you at all. Just trying to charge that up. I'd rather have done it before the fight, but this is fine too. Let's also just get you a random kill on that one. Now you're invisible. And you're in the Singing Sword there, right? Yeah, okay.
Let's play.
So you've got 3 actions now. But as I mentioned before, in honor mode, you can't stack up extra attack with those extra actions. You only get 1 attack per each one. So that extra attack from Ranger doesn't really help here. Okay, let's turn that off. Just guarantee that this actually hits. Don't know why you had to move for that one, but whatever. Then we can turn that back on and shoot maybe that Nolfang of Yinagu. Nice. Alright, so taking out their boss, taking out one of their strongest.
What now?
Now if I can get you a kill, you can then get an extra, like, 2 actions. And I think you can probably do that. Let's have you cast Hex, perhaps. Unless I want to do Fairy Fire. But I think this is going to be pretty easy. I can just start Hex for the rest of the day here instead.
Malady take.
The bonus action do that. Then let's have you just shoot that guy. Missed. Okay. But hopefully he can get the kill here. Probably can get the kill here. There we go. This gives you an extra action. You can't reapply Hex, but that's fine. It was still worth more damage this way than it would have been any other way, I think. You have a good long-range attack, let's have you take that one down. Nicely done. I want to point out how little XP these guys are worth, by the way. You know, Flind herself was only worth, 75, which is terrible compared to what Kobolds are given the next zone. Oh, my birds weren't even in the fight. Whoops. That's fine, though.
Go for the throat.
Alright. Well, we spent some resources here, but we got, dramatic effectiveness as a result. That's probably a pretty good deal for just making sure that we can't take any damage from what can be, if it goes wrong, a tricky fight. Haste will wear off soon, and we'll have to spend a turn being lethargic, but who cares because the fight is over.
At least things have stayed interesting.
Did one of them just walk through their own alchemist fire and get burned?
Sight.
Oh, he's talking to a Saurian? Okay. I was going to point out one funny thing, which if he talks to Ballista, he will comment on how he's seen lots of bad things like drow, but you yourself might be a drow in disguise, and he won't even remark about that. So.
Gnolls, goblins, drow.
Usually they acknowledge what your current disguised race is, but not in this conversation.
You're the first friendly face we've seen since Eltergard. We're bound for Baldur's Gate. Got some cargo to deliver. But we've a stop to make along the way. Thanks, but that won't be necessary. We'll find help at Joaquin's Rest. Listen, you look like you know how to handle yourself. You should meet my associates. We've got our own drinking spot.
They're going to where the Zentrum are all waiting, so we can then fight him there for the hardest possible battle. I mean, he'll be friendly to us, but we're going to pick the fight because I want to solve everything with combat, basically. So that's where we're going to do things this way.
He'll take good care of you. Aye, the whole reason we're in this mess. Trinkets for some rich tosser in Baldur's Gate.
It's a beholder, basically, in a bottle, in a box.
We get a handful.
Probably be used to attack somebody in the city, which seems like a very sloppy way to do that. Speaking of sloppy, he just talks out loud about their secret Zentrum currency, so, that's not too bright.
That's what
I
I
guess
call
hoping to recruit us or
sloppy.
whatever, but...
You know who we are. Very clever. And you probably also know it's not smart to interfere with Zent business. This is the point when a clever lad like you accepts my gratitude. And
Now,
walks away.
Ballista wants to find out what the Zentrum are up to. He knows they're liaising with the Moonrise cult, so he's hoping to find out where their hideout is and then maybe kill them there and get some information.
No one stopped me yet.
So that's why we're letting this guy go. Yeah, he really is just stupidly walking through his own alchemist fire to come out to us. Usually doesn't happen in my experience. In that fight with Flynn, by the way, you can sometimes get her to eat herself or eat her companions. I've never, ever had that option for some reason. I wouldn't take it because I wouldn't have the hardest fight that I can do, but, it is supposedly an option that just I've never, ever had, for whatever reason.
There's an illithid parasite in that.
You can do that because she has that parasite, so you can kind of visually mind control her to do it.
What's cooking?
Spears are good.
All right.
Speaking of which, I've got my own spear to recollect over there, I guess.
That's the symbol of the Absolute, marked in blood.
I want to point out, the Zentrum are hurting themselves by working with the Absolute, because here is the Absolute attacking them, basically. And they are stupidly helping bring about the end of the world by working with the Absolute cult and doing smuggling for them. Just short-sighted mafia decisions, I guess. This Shattered Flail here, I've never really found a use for it. It's +2, which I guess is okay at this stage of the game, but, it's only a flail. It's not a good weapon type at all. And then you get a bit of healing, but that healing is easy to come by. But then also, if you don't keep hitting enemy every turn, which you can't always do, you then become confused and hostile to everyone. So, not good. Very good for, the demonic, all-hating theme, I guess, but not a good item in my experience.
Long road ahead.
Plus, again, who does melee attacks? Bad idea. I mean, obviously I like to do them, but, they're not good. They're not optimal. I usually end up selling that one, these supplies too. Dagger root. Yes, please. That's used to make oils of accuracy, which are one of the strongest weapon coatings in the game, I would say. It's a pretty rare ingredient and quite valuable. Good thing that Noel's never found this entrance to the cave, right?
Maybe I need more pockets.
We can talk to Olly, who's kind of the kid sidekick of Rugen over there.
I'll be glad when we're out of this bloody cave.
You're already out of the bloody cave.
Something good here.
On the whole, you're in a bloodier area now than you were in the cave. Let's use Ray of Frost to clean up all the fire there so we can just walk through it.
Caught in the act of killing. It is unavoidable now.
You walked into that, you dummy. Okay, I guess I don't get the slightly harder fight with the Zentrum. I guess I've got to just kill him. I mean, it won't really matter. He'll just be one more attack sponge up in that fight, but... Stupid kid.
Let's have some fun.
Alright. I'll do things in another way, I guess.
Have a lot on my mind. And, well, in it.
Didn't even know that could happen. A guy just walking into the line of fire and getting hit like that. What happened to you? No, that's not what happened to you at all. Okay.
The corpse remains silent.
What? Okay. These are nonsensical answers. I guess I kind of assumed they'd be killed by the gnolls if they died here or whatever.
Chest locked. Dangerous.
What a silly outcome.
Hide out. Beneath Joaquin's rest. Olly. Zantrum agent.
He pronounces it more as Zhenterum. Some of them do, but most of them pronounce it just Zhenterum. And what do you have to say for yourself? I guess I should have known how dumb they were from how he walked through fire several times.
The corpse regards.
And his sidekick learned from him.
Some killer looked a lot like you. Tavern.
Hey, well, we can't just ask him about the past, but I guess we already know it, but... Okay. Well, that was very silly and a bit frustrating. As I said, it won't really make the fight any harder, because you can see he doesn't have enough HP to tank more than like 1 or 2 hits from us, so it would not make that fight significantly more challenging.
What a chest.
That might be worth a look.
At least we can take these. Normally that's stealing. Alright, let's have one of the strong people just take this chest unopened. That's important. So we can deliver it to the Zentrum when we get there and hopefully turn that in and advance their quest a bit. There's some unique items you can get from their merchant only if you befriend them in some way. I want to try that at least. Now over there's some items we can grab, I suppose, so let's go over and do that. I also remember there being some booby traps in one of these spots.
Wonder what's past this.
Guess I won't have guidance for this, but that'll be fine. Yeah, it's decent. Pretty minor stuff. Can't jump back. What if I step onto this rickety edge there? There we go. Encumbered again. We're getting so much treasure. Well, let's pass all these armaments on to... You've got a good amount of carry weight open. So yeah, this is kind of true. Shar and Selena were some of the first deities created, and then Shar decided she wanted to destroy all life for no good reason. An open heresy in that it promotes Shar's point of view there as if it was not completely insane. I mean, they're tasked to create a universe. They really think they're supposed to create an empty one with no life in it? Alright, let us disarm that mine. Okay, it won't let me. Let me jump over and then hopefully disarm that mine. I don't use barbarians, so this will never ever matter. It's not bad for a barbarian, it's a good number of temporary hit points.
Just another crate.
Okay, let's get grouped up. There's just a little bit more stuff to loot around here, I think. And we can also set off the boulder trap for fun, I suppose. The tripwire for it is somewhere over there that I guess I can't quite see from here, huh? Can I instead just attack its support? Instead of rolling down that way? Looks like it. It's a pretty fearsome trap if you're caught in it. Let me get down there and also probably spend this Mind Flayer Parasite, and then probably end there and head to Joaquin's Rest next time. I think I will start working toward ability drain for Astarion, and then come back for Sonic Backlash for him later on.
Looking ahead.
Alright. Well, weird happenings there, but a pretty fun session other than that. Thank you for watching, everyone. And a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Frank Maidens, Master Knight DH, Jackie, and Lino, George Grin, Travis, Carlo Andrea 97, Cthulhu's Mom, Gregory, William Wakefield, Danny Hall, Jeffrey Morse, Just Becca, Jack, Austin Livingston, Mashas01, Jacob Marshall, Nubiana, Till Fisher, Latinx, Discord Colossus, Nicholas Schmuck, Kostya Nesterovich, Vol the Great, Luke Frederick Brune, Goman Blackrock, Dodo King 4, Martian Bialek, Techno Waffle, Mavith, Nebular, I Loop, Michael Francis, Emperor Kong 420, and Robin Maki. Have a great day, everyone.